Rob, Happy New Year
Happy New
again.
Year. Happy New Year, Jim.
It's a new year. People are going to be moving
Oh
into the
yeah.
United States, out of the United States.
Yep.
Uh, why don't you share with the people watching the whole process, being that people are just, a lot of people I'm sure are new to the topic, right? International moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And yeah, I mean, yeah, things are really busy with, all the political things that are going on. We've been very, very busy. And that's a really good topic because when I'm speaking with clients, which is, every single day, what comes up very often is just that, I've never done this before. I'm speaking for a client. And what is the process? And sometimes I even lose track of the fact that, I need to step back and get out of the granularity of the details of the move and the things that we need to know so that yada yada, and say, look, from a 20,000 foot perspective, this is the typical process. So that's really good. Um, yeah. So I would say that, there's ocean shipping, people that are moving either direction by way and moving their items by way of ocean transport. And that's by far the most typical method. And there's air, of course, doing the same thing, but by air. But let's speak to ocean for now, since it's the vast majority. And there are different ways of doing it. There is the most common, which is door to door. So I'm moving somebody, their household in Falls Church, Virginia, and they're moving to wherever, Toulouse, France. And it's going to be door to door, including the customs clearance process in Europe. So there are also somewhat unusual, but they do happen, circumstances where it may be door to port. Perhaps a client, for whatever reason, just says, just get it to the port, and I've got customs and I've got the final destination delivery portion worked out, or I will work it out. I've got connections. So door to port happens. Port to port can happen. I'm going to get everything to the port, Rob, and I just need ocean transport.
Mm.
Okay. Port to door. I'm going to get everything to the port, but then you take it the rest of the way to my residence in Toulouse, France. So that happens, but by far it's ocean and it's door to door. So the typical process is this: when a client says, "What's the process, Rob?" It's we come to an agreement in terms of what the scope of the move is, what all is going to be moved, not only the volume, which is the most critical element, but also if there's anything needs special attention. It could be billiard table, it could be pinball machines, it could be statues, it could be high value fine art, glass tabletops, marble tabletops, huge glass curio cabinets, something that I want to see everything, not just the volume, but things that might need extra type of protection and
Mm.
consideration on the pickup. So we come, retrieve everything. Now, within the retrieval process, there can be we pack the boxes. I'm talking just the boxes now, dishes, knickknacks, books, framed wall art, anything that goes into a box of some form. Sometimes clients will decide and opt to do their own box packing. But either way, we're going to pack or not. We're going to get everything. We're going to create a nice inventory list. We're going to pick up the furniture. We're going to wrap and protect everything as is appropriate. Sometimes that includes wood crating. If
Mm.
it's something that's really delicate and needs, that type of protection. Um, any furniture that can be and should be disassembled, we'll disassemble as well. We take it away, either in the container itself, if we're going to be using a container, or in a proper moving truck. At which time in that case, it would go back to our warehouse, eventually loaded into a container, one way or the other. If it's a live load into a container at the client's home, then that container goes directly to the port from there. But at some point, the household goods that have been taken care of, wrapped, protected, packaged, inventory list, everything's done. It's going to make its way into a container. The container is going to be loaded onto an ocean vessel that we have booked and scheduled and all of that. So now it's on the ocean vessel. The ocean vessel sails and it's going to go to the destination. And oh, by the way, let me stop and just for a second and insert this. I'm talking about overseas shipping. There is also overland, which is Canada and
Mm-hmm.
Mexico to the south. That's same idea, but we're not going to be using a boat. There won't be a
Mm-hmm.
container. It's going to be trucked either way. So now the ocean vessel is going overseas, and it would then eventually get to the port of destination, port of entry that we have selected based on appropriateness. Customs is we clear customs, and then it is delivered to the client's home. Everything is placed in the home. We'll place everything in the home where it needs to go. So if the dining room table goes here and the beds go upstairs and whatever it is, anything that has been disassembled is reassembled. Boxes are put wherever the client would like the boxes placed, and any trash is going to be removed. Now, um, there is also something that we'll call white glove service, where we can even unload, unpack the boxes.
Mm.
And some clients like that sometimes because they don't want to deal with any of the box. There's going to be a lot of boxes, and typically, and they think, well, what are we going to do with all these boxes in the house? How do we get rid of them? Hey, Rob, why doesn't SDC just go ahead and take care of that too? So we'll give a semi white glove service, unboxing everything and taking even the boxes away. Along the way, let me step back again. Along the way in this whole process, from door to door, there are going to be obviously milestones in terms of progress of the actual move. And when a client looks over everything, says this looks good, I like you, the price is good, let's move forward, let's set a date and initiate this process. We're then going to introduce someone else from our company, a logistics and support specialist. So now there's the sales and shipping specialist, relocation specialist. I'm often involved. And then we'll introduce that logistics and support person from our company who's going to be looking for, okay, these are the documents that we're going to need. I need this, and making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted so that we can, get everything over there in the correct fashion.
Right.
So that person will be introduced. We will then also, that will be sort of the direct primary contact at that point for the client, because they are then going to take the reins and keep the client apprised of milestones in terms of, okay, it's on the boat. The ocean vessel is the shipping date is, in 3 days or whatever it is. Okay, now it's going to be reaching the port on such and such a date. That's the time of arrival. At that point, we're going to introduce our team, our agent, our partner overseas, who's then going to be another person involved, who's probably going to ask for some little bit of information in terms of what's necessary, if anything, extra for clearing customs overseas. So
Right.
that's kind of the whole process. Now, within that, there's also a conversation about marine insurance and things of that nature. But that's kind of the long-winded, I guess. I'm sort of on a monologue here, the door-to-door process by way of ocean.
Okay, so I was following that and I'm thinking, um, what happens if the ship arrives at the port at say 1 a.m. in the morning at the destination? Do they just wait until the business day the next day to contact the client and let them know that okay, everything's here and it's going to be shipped over within a certain time frame? Or do they just deliver it at 1 in the morning? I mean, how does that
No,
work?
no, no. So, we're going to know when the time of arrival is going to be at the port of entry
Yeah,
um, for the destination. And yeah, whenever it comes in, it comes in. And, we're going to give an appraisal in terms of this is when it's coming in. We're going to maybe tomorrow, the next day, contact you with the actual delivery date to your new home
yeah,
where everything is going to go. It's not, it doesn't hit the port and off it goes and off. There's a process there where things
yeah,
come off, and it's handled differently. Sometimes the container itself can be pulled to the home. Oftentimes it's got to be unloaded into a truck and taken that way.
right.
Some countries, depending, will have a quarantine period
Oh,
where, like for example, Australia, New Zealand, very often they're going to take everything off the ship and it's going to be inspected. So it's in quarantine for maybe a week or so.
so
While
that's customs, right? That's customs job
all
on
American
the
customs.
yeah, the port
Correct.
of entry. Yeah.
Right. So it's not like you get off the plane at the airport and you're a baggage claim and in the Uber,
Yeah.
right. There's a little bit of a process there. So that we're able to give
That
our clients, we
yeah.
think it's going to hit the port, the schedule to hit the port on this date, and delivery's probably going to be somewhere around here. And sometimes clients will say, "Oh gosh, we're not ready. We're not ready. We thought we might be, but we're not." Okay. We all always have storage.
Yeah.
Um, Locally overseas. So we can
Yeah.
say, okay, here's what we can do in
Now
terms of conduit.
with any storage, being this is residential, I'm sure that then if everything is in the container, they have to take everything out, put it on a truck, move the truck to the storage, take everything off the truck into the storage, and
Absolutely.
then yeah, it's not, I'm sure with commercial, they probably have it set up where you can put the whole container in storage until, because of the volume and stuff. But yeah,
Well, it really depends, but yeah, remember the container isn't our property. It's it's just this common circulating thing around the globe of containers out, and that's what kind of messed things up during the COVID period of time.
yeah,
It was really the containers that got glommed up in different places. Things weren't flowing. That was a bit of a problem. So
yeah.
yeah, it's not like, oh, we'll just leave it in the container. What do you need? 3 weeks, a month? Nah, it's not going to work that way. It's going to have to be offloaded, stored in a secure facility, and then taken by truck to the client's home
I
destination.
can imagine too, based on the volume of the shipment, that, by the time the ship actually arrives in the port, to the time that your container with your belongings is offloaded and goes through the process, right? I guess it could be a day sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. It's always going to be a day or two. It's not, yeah, like that
Yeah. Like you
for
said, it's
sure.
not instant. It's not like you go to the carousel and here's your stuff coming.
Where's my couch?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not like that at all. And like I said, some countries, most notably places like Australia,
Yeah.
they're going to quarantine it. They're going to look at things. I mean, if you've got anything that gives them pause we need to inspect, even a bicycle,
Now,
because bicycle tires got dirt and they're worried about the dirt.
none of the actual the freight company themselves, the people that own the ship, do they own most of the containers that are on that ship, or is it a bunch of different people?
It's sort of a yeah, it's sort of a what's the word I'm looking for, where everyone's common ownership of
Yeah, okay.
containers and that kind of thing, because there'd just be no way. Wait a minute, that's my container. It's got
Yeah,
to stay on my ship. Not quite like that.
right.
But
And now
but a lot of people
Estes,
think that it's their container and we just store it in the container.
yeah. So you have your own containers at SDC, right? For your groupage. For
Well, yes, we do, but not exactly like that either. When we talk about groupage, where we're filling our container with multiple folks' items so that we can ship them off, like we
right,
do from LA or San Francisco or New York to Europe. Um, that is still a common container. So in other words, it's going to come to our warehouse,
yeah,
and we store things in our warehouse until such time as we've got the container full.
yeah,
And then we order the container, comes, we load the container.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's still the same process. We just consolidate, and accumulate until it fits a container. It might be 6 people in there, 5 people in there, or 3 people in there.
right, right, right.
One
Yeah,
to Italy, one to France, and one to Germany. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe 3 people. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Rob, good information. That was nice. You really, from start to finish, you kind of painted a nice, easy to follow picture of everything going along. I guess the only thing that popped into my mind, like, so if you have like a phone, can you download the app onto that shows where the boat is? Do you do that or no?
No, no, that's not available. Like you could track your UPS or your
Yeah,
Amazon ship it, or your, yeah, it's like it's out for delivery, or it's at the sorting facility in Atlanta. No,
yeah.
that's not available. Um, and frankly, it's probably not necessary. Like I said, we keep our clients apprised of milestones.
I
So
got you. Yeah,
client
yeah,
knows when it's picked up.
yeah,
We let them know, hey, we've got the booking and it's going, the sail date is this, and
yeah,
the anticipated ocean transit anticipated. Remember that, the boat
yeah.
may speed up, may slow down because they're trying to keep things moving. They don't want backups at the port because
I
a boat
got
will
you.
get there too soon. So that happens. We keep apprised of milestones, and as a way of tracking, clients can also reach out to us and say, just checking in on what's going on, and we'll give them, our latest update in terms of what we know, and
Yeah,
still the anticipated, reaching the port date, how long it typically takes, at the port to clear customs, and then be taken to the final destination. But
yeah.
the actual details, happen when they, at that moment.
Well, because you and I are no longer in our 20s, I think that we would really appreciate the fact that somebody live is on the phone saying, "Hey, this is where your shipment is," and it's the same person that we're talking to through the process, so or in the same group
Yeah.
of people. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that we do definitely offer is we've got a live person here, and we can give every piece of information that we have at the moment,
Yeah.
um, to anyone, and just let them know, this is what's going on, this is what to expect, this is what we might need at the port, but we're going to reach out ahead of time to let you know if we need something else to clear customs. And
Yep.
like I said, I've dealt with so many people over the years, and I tend to get in and talk with them about the process, but more the granular, like this piece and that piece, and how do we handle a billiard table, and all these things. And so often, and this is a great topic because so often they say, I've never done this before. I don't think I'm going to do this ever again. Explain to me the process. And I said, oh, that's great. I really should start by stepping back and saying, this is kind of how it works. Now let's address, the
Yeah.
piece for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rob, great information as always. And whoever's watching, if you have any questions, we have a website filled with information, stcinternationalshipping.com. We have podcasts, we have videos. If you can't find the answer there, right, you can always call 877-339-0267.
That's it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, always got an answer for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Rob, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video.
Sounds good, Jim. Have a good one.
All right, you too.